So Bitcoin starts with this ideology. If God said, you know, I'm going to implement a system of 21 million gold coins, but we're going to call them God coins, and I'm going to keep them in a bank in heaven, and I'm going to let you transfer, you know, any amount. I'm going to let you subdivide it by 100 million, and we'll call them Satoshis. And I will let you transfer peer-to-peer and pay anybody, anytime, instantly at the speed of light, and I will keep track of the ledger of who, you know,
in
who
an
owes
incorruptible
what.
way.
I will never cheat you, and I will do it forever, for free.
Billionaire Micheal Saylor preaches the gospel of Bitcoin. He once suffered the largest personal loss ever recorded in a single day, $6 billion, but he refused to quit. He turned his software company into a Bitcoin treasury, convinced Elon Musk to buy $1.5 billion in Bitcoin, and continues to borrow billions of dollars to buy more. His personal life is excess made visible: yachts, jets, mansions, and extravagant parties with celebrities and exotic animals. He's tangled with the law, paying DC's largest income tax penalty ever and an $8 million SEC settlement, while rumors of a romance with an Arab queen only deepen his legend.
Joining us now, Micheal Saylor.
Pleased to say that joining us now is Strategy Executive Chairman.
The man who never sells, Micheal Saylor.
How does one man inspire a following that borders on cult-like devotion? Will his Bitcoin faith save him or doom him? And what does it mean for the millions who believe in him? Saylor was born in Lincoln, Nebraska in 1965. The son of an Air Force Chief Master Sergeant, his childhood was a blur of Army bases, new schools, and constant change. Instead of being weighed down by it, Saylor thrived. He was the kind of kid who always found a way to stand out. By the time he reached high school, his talent and ambition were undeniable. He graduated at the top of his class, served as both class marshal and valedictorian, and his classmates voted him most likely to succeed. It was a prophecy. He attended college at MIT, where Saylor's ambition only grew sharper. He joined the Theta Delta Chi fraternity, studied relentlessly, and earned not 1 but 2 degrees, one in aeronautics and astronautics, the other in science, technology, and society. But he wasn't all about textbooks. In his free time, he played guitar in a rock band and even learned to fly gliders. He was equal parts scientist and cool rock star. He was also part of the Air Force college program, with his sights set on becoming a fighter pilot like his father. That dream was crushed when a heart condition disqualified him from flight training. Yet instead of breaking him, the setback forced Saylor to pivot. If he couldn't conquer the skies, he would conquer something else. After graduation, he briefly worked at DuPont using computer simulations to model complex problems. But Saylor wasn't built to be someone's employee. In 1989, at just 24 years old, he co-founded MicroStrategy with one of his MIT frat brothers. The company built software to help businesses make sense of their data.
Micheal Saylor is president and CEO of MicroStrategy. He founded the startup in 1989 at the age of 24. Since then, the company's focus has evolved from consulting to software to e-business. Today, it is best known for helping large companies sift through their vast databases for valuable analysis and information. It has doubled in size every year and grown into a multi-million-dollar company. From the beginning, it has been driven by the vision of its leader, whose mission has been nothing less than to purge ignorance from the planet.
The 1990s tech boom was like fuel on a fire. MicroStrategy soared, and so did Saylor. By 1999, he was worth more than $16 billion. He was one of the youngest self-made billionaires in America, the Mark Zuckerberg of his time. For a moment, it looked like he had fulfilled his high school prophecy, but fortunes can change in an instant. In March 2000, MicroStrategy revealed that it had overstated its 1999 revenue by 25%. The announcement wiped out investor confidence overnight. Its stock plunged. In a single day, Saylor lost $6 billion, the largest one-day personal wealth loss in history at the time. And as the dot-com bubble burst, his losses only deepened, with his fortune eventually plunging by a colossal $13 billion. The fallout didn't end there. Later that year, the SEC accused Saylor of violating federal securities laws. The SEC said MicroStrategy had inflated revenue records, making the company's finances look stronger than they actually were. Saylor settled the lawsuit, paying $8 million without admitting any wrongdoing. But the damage was done. His reputation was by then that of a fallen star, from visionary billionaire CEO to corporate fraudster. But Saylor kept MicroStrategy alive, rebuilding the company slowly and carefully, even as Wall Street stopped paying attention.
The first thing that has to happen is, well, if all the stocks are immediately recovering, even though Disneyland is closed, right?
Yeah.
If even though the airlines are down 95%, but airline stocks are moving up, if that's happening, then you have to ask the question, why is that happening? And that leads you...
The 2020 COVID-19 pandemic rattled markets worldwide. Governments unleashed historic money printing, and investors feared their cash was melting away. For most companies, the solution was to cut costs, hoard reserves, and wait out the storm. Saylor chose a different path. In August 2020, he purchased $250 million worth of Bitcoin, converting a large portion of his company's corporate treasury into the volatile digital currency. The move stunned Wall Street. MicroStrategy was a button-down software firm, not a hedge fund or a crypto startup. Yet suddenly, it was betting its future on a cryptocurrency that many still dismissed as a passing fad. MicroStrategy became the first publicly traded U.S. company to make Bitcoin its primary treasury reserve. For Saylor, though, this was more than an investment. He called Bitcoin God's gift to humanity and the apex property of the human race. He spoke with the zeal of a convert, comparing Bitcoin to digital gold, harder, smarter, and incorruptible.
First we start ignorant. First I was just ignorant. Then I was skeptical. Then my mind was opened by circumstance. And then I became interested. That led to being enamored. That led to more study and eventually resulted in conviction.
And he didn't stop there. In the months that followed, MicroStrategy doubled down, purchase after purchase, each bigger than the last. He became addicted to Bitcoin. Soon, Saylor started borrowing billions of dollars to buy even more Bitcoin. By the end of 2020, the company held more than $1.1 billion in Bitcoin. By the end of 2021, it had expanded its holdings to $3.75 billion. MicroStrategy was no longer seen primarily as a business intelligence firm. It had become a Bitcoin proxy, a stock that investors could buy if they wanted portfolio exposure to the cryptocurrency. Saylor himself became a Bitcoin missionary. He appeared on every podcast, every news outlet, and every Bitcoin event, evangelizing to anyone who would listen. His message was simple: abandon cash, embrace Bitcoin, or risk being left behind. However, inside MicroStrategy, not everyone shared his faith. Some employees quietly left, calling the company Bitcoin obsessed. Projects that once defined MicroStrategy's mission were overshadowed by a single ceaseless pursuit: acquiring more Bitcoin.
Straightforward. Are you a software company or are you a Bitcoin fund?
Our P&L is a software company, and we sell the world's best enterprise business intelligence software.
Okay.
Our balance sheet is no longer invested in dollars. Our balance sheet is invested in BTC because we believe that's the best treasury reserve asset we could choose in the world.
Got it. Michael, thank you so much for your time.
His first real test came in 2022. Bitcoin crashed 77% from its peak, wiping more than $1 billion from MicroStrategy's reserves. That same year, Saylor stepped down as the CEO of the company he founded after 3 decades at the helm.
There's no other asset you can buy. There's no other place you can put your money that holds that kind of promise that Bitcoin holds. And that's what I think makes it special and inspires so much passion and devotion amongst the hodlers.
Was that your view on Bitcoin?
When Saylor gave up the CEO seat at MicroStrategy in 2022, it wasn't because he was walking away. Even after the company suffered more than $1 billion in unrealized losses in Bitcoin's crash, Saylor wasn't shaken. He moved into a new role as executive chairman, a position that freed him from running the company's daily operations. His only job was to lead the company's Bitcoin strategy. He was now the chief Bitcoin officer. His mission was clear. He would dedicate himself almost entirely to preaching the gospel of Bitcoin. By mid-2025, MicroStrategy had become something extraordinary. The company owned more than 500,000 Bitcoins, worth around $52 billion. Its stock market value soared even higher, hitting $105 billion. That meant investors weren't just buying into Bitcoin, they were paying nearly double its value simply to do it through Saylor. The company rebranded as the world's first and largest Bitcoin treasury company and changed its name to simply Strategy. Its new logo features a stylized bee in vibrant orange, emphasizing its Bitcoin focus and unique place at the crossroads of technology and cryptocurrency.
We're a Bitcoin treasury company, so we're securitizing Bitcoin. We're providing high-performance equity. We're also providing convertible bonds. We've provided other kinds of bonds in the past, but primarily our job is to bridge the traditional capital markets that want bonds, or they want fixed income, or they want equity, or they want options. And we plug that into the crypto economy, and we use Bitcoin as the vehicle to do that.
For many investors, buying Strategy stock is about safety and convenience. Owning Strategy shares is easier than managing crypto wallets and private keys, but for others, it's a bet on Saylor himself, the man who speaks about Bitcoin with a conviction that feels unshakable, almost prophetic. His belief has created intense devotion. Some fans praise him as a leader of a movement. Some fans have gone as far as mortgaging their homes or draining their savings just to buy Strategy stock.
How heavily exposed to MicroStrategy are you now?
Of my equity exposure, 99% of it is in Strategy. Yeah.
Meanwhile, Saylor has leaned into the myth. He often shares striking AI-generated portraits of himself with his almost 5 million Twitter followers, painting him as larger than life. And in August 2025, it looks like the gamble is paying off. Since the start of Saylor's Bitcoin buying spree in 2020, Strategy stock has exploded, rising more than 2,000%. But not everyone is convinced. Famous short seller Jim Chanos and others have warned that the numbers don't add up. To them, Strategy is just speculative mania wrapped in corporate packaging, a meme stock hiding behind the Bitcoin logo.
Micheal Saylor is a wonderful salesman, but that's what he is. He's a salesman. And what he's selling investors is the concept that you give me your money and I'm just going to go buy Bitcoin, and hopefully the value of my stock trades at a premium to the value of that Bitcoin. And so as long as I can keep doing that, I generate value. And this is, of course, I called it financial gibberish because...
And then there is the issue of ownership. Saylor owns just 10% of the company but controls 45% of the voting rights, giving him nearly unchecked authority to risk billions of investors' money on Bitcoin. As Strategy's stock climbs and the company sits on a mountain of digital gold, Saylor isn't just a visionary anymore. He's a preacher with a flock. He is the Bitcoin prophet. The only question is whether he's leading his flock to salvation or into the fire.
Maybe the first time in the history of the human race that you can actually take possession of your wealth and take it to the grave with you, or take it anywhere else on earth with you. And even if I put a gun to your head, the most I can do is kill you. I can't take it. Mm-hmm. And this is a very interesting idea. Every other form of property in the history of the human race, I pull the gun, I get it all. Right? My incentive is to violence. With Bitcoin, I pull the trigger, I get none of it. So
Saylor lives a life of excess. On land, there's Villa Vecchia, a 13-bedroom Miami Beach mansion built for royalty. In the sky, a $47 million Bombardier jet stands ready to spirit him away to galas, parties, or the next big crypto conference. Then comes the water. The Harley, 147 feet of floating indulgence, flaunts digital art by Monet, Van Gogh, and Picasso, plus a rooftop hot tub. And just in case one yacht isn't enough, he bought his second, the Usher, for $31.5 million. It features Polynesian staterooms, Art Deco flair, and even twin margarita machines. The 154-foot yacht was featured on the TV show Entourage and boasts space designed for lavish, unforgettable parties. His love life only adds to the legend. Never married, he is said to have dated Queen Noor of Jordan. At home, he had a private butler to round out the fantasy. And then there are the parties. Legendary, outrageous, impossible to ignore. At his 2010 birthday celebration in a luxury Washington, D.C. hotel, Saylor hosted a safari-themed gala with exotic animals. Photos show him draping an albino Burmese python around his neck, smiling for the cameras. Each year, just before Thanksgiving, he throws Rocktoberfest at the Manhattan Soho House, where guests dress as rock stars. But excess comes with a price. In 2022, Washington, D.C. accused Saylor of a massive tax fraud scheme, dodging more than $25 million over 16 years.
The District of Columbia says he is suing Billionaire MicroStrategy CEO Micheal Saylor for non-payment of taxes, alleging that the billionaire tech executive has lived in the District of Columbia for more than a decade, but has never paid any D.C. income taxes. He also says he's suing Saylor's company, MicroStrategy, which is located just across the river in suburban Virginia, for, quote, conspiring to help him evade taxes he legally owes on hundreds of millions of dollars he's earned while living in D.C. The whistleblower's complaint also alleges that Saylor openly bragged to friends and acquaintances about evading D.C. taxes and encouraged others to follow his example.
Saylor allegedly claimed residency in Florida and Virginia while actually living full-time in a 7,000-square-foot D.C. penthouse and docking his yachts on the district's Potomac River. He agreed to a $40 million settlement to resolve the case. The settlement marked the largest income tax fraud recovery in D.C. history. So who knows? Maybe Saylor's Bitcoin gospel will lead his followers to the promised land of riches. Or maybe the feds will crash the party. Or maybe Bitcoin itself will collapse, dragging everything down with it. Only time will tell.